It's 1945, and World War II is over. Adolf Hitler is dead, Nazi Germany has collapsed. But there's a problem. Many of the men who helped run one of the deadliest regimes in history remain unpunished for their crimes. So what do you do with them? Execute them? Or put them on trial and let the world watch? The Allied powers chose something the world had never really seen before. Instead of executing them immediately, they made a bold decision to hold public trials. And that decision led to one of the most important court cases in human history, the Nuremberg Trials. The trials were held in Nuremberg, Germany, and that was not by accident. This city had once been a powerful symbol of Nazi strength, hosting massive rallies and propaganda events. Now, it would become the place where that same regime was publicly judged. The trials were organized by four major Allied nations: the United States, Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and France. But there came another problem. Each country had its own legal system, an idea of how the trial should be. The Soviet Union proposed a show trial. The United Kingdom proposed summary executions, while the United States proposed a legitimate trial. So they came together and created a single framework for justice called the London Charter. This charter established how the trials would work. The defendants would have lawyers. There would be a panel of 4 judges, one from each country, and most importantly, it clearly defined the crimes being charged. The Nazi leaders were accused of 4 major categories of crimes: crimes against peace, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and conspiracy. This was the first time crimes against humanity was clearly defined in law. 24 high-ranking Nazi officials were charged. Among them was Hermann Göring, one of Hitler's closest allies. Some never made it to the courtroom. One took his own life before the trial began, and another was declared mentally unfit. But the rest faced the court and the evidence against them. Some made pleas saying, "I was just following orders." But the court rejected that. Over months of hearings, the tribunal examined documents, watched recorded footage, and listened to witness testimony. What emerged was a clear and horrifying picture of the Nazi regime's actions: concentration camps, systematic killings, and suffering on a massive scale. And this was part of the purpose of the trial, which was not only to try the defendants, but also to assemble irrefutable evidence of Nazi war crimes. For many people around the world, this was the first time they truly understood the full extent of the atrocities. In October 1946, the court delivered its verdicts. 12 defendants were sentenced to death. Others received life imprisonment or long prison terms. A few were acquitted. Hermann Göring, one of the most prominent figures, avoided execution by committing suicide shortly before his sentence could be carried out. The trials could not undo the damage of the war. They could not bring back the millions who had died. But they did something that had never been done before. They established that individuals, even powerful leaders, can be held accountable under international law. They rejected the excuse of just following orders, and they laid the foundation for future war crimes trials around the world. Even in war, there are limits, and crossing those limits has consequences.